What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Flowers. For those that's new to my channel, Flowers is my segment where I like to give some of my favorite albums the recognition, or some albums I feel like just go unappreciated. They're flowers. But today, I'm going to talk about an album that I feel like everyone knows hands down. It's a classic, right? But I haven't talked about it on my page yet, so I feel like today was perfect. It's its 15-year anniversary, and just going back today and listening to this album and getting all the nostalgic feels from it, and just being reminded of just how good of a time that was when Kanye was on that run. Like the third album, the closing of the trilogy, the infamous battle between him and 50, the culture shift in hip hop, I'd like to say, with this album, and just to live through it too. Like, I was 17 when this album came out, and that was like prime real estate time in my life, you know, as far as just influence of music and things of that nature. And this album, man, and to be truthfully honest with you, Graduation is not my favorite Kanye album. I consider it like his Thriller, right? Some might consider Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy that, but I feel like Graduation is that because it's so commercially driven and stadium records and hits on hits on hits, and every song just feels like a celebration. So I give it that tie to Thriller. And selling 1 million copies in a week against a juggernaut like 50 Cent at the time, who I'm a big 50 Cent fan as well. And at that time, I just knew 50 Cent was going to win. Like, I know now in today's time it might be weird to look at it and be like, yeah, it would have been obvious. But at that time, 50 Cent coming off the Massacre, after selling 1.4 in 4 days with the Massacre, it was because it was only 2 years later. So it was like, and 50 Cent still put up great numbers, almost 700,000. Like, that's nothing to tilt your nose up at, or whatever the fucking saying is. Tilt your nose up, down, I don't know. But it's nothing to like bash in a way. But I remember me and my friends going to the store back when there were like CD stores, like Kent Mills. Well, maybe it was just like Target back then, and getting those albums, because we were fan of both. Quick story before, because I'm gonna run through some of my favorite moments on this album. But I remember going to my friend's house before school, one of my best friends, and we're both 50 Cent fans, Kanye fans too, like, not get it twisted, but if you live in the time, you just knew 50 Cent was gonna win, whatever. Anyway, so I listened to Graduation the night before because I'm a LimeWire baby. So like, I had the bootleg before the album came out, so I already heard it, and I was giving him the burnt CD. And the morning I walked in, I didn't do anything. I didn't say a word to him. I walked in his room, put the CD in his CD player, and just pressed play on Good Morning. Like, that shit was just like, it was just like something you never heard at that time. Like that hard percussion against that Elton John sample, and it just felt like, oh shit. Like, because Kanye coming off Late Registration and College Dropout, they're very, very soul sample driven. And I feel like at Graduation he made the switch where I can sprinkle that in there, but it's time to expand the sound. And I think like him making that switch at that moment in 2007 was so pivotal, and so, oh man, it was like, it was just such a pivotal time in music. I want to say so much. I want to say, like, Kanye beating 50 Cent in that first week is like Revenge of the Nerds type shit. It was the day the bully lost, in a way, and the kid that everybody picked on, who didn't see nobody saw the potential in, nobody believed in, knocks it out the fucking park from every aspect of it. Like, every aspect of it. I remember watching those two on 106 and Park, and even they both were premiering new videos, and Kanye was premiering Good Life, and 50 Cent was premiering I believe it was Follow My Lead. It wasn't even AO Technology or anything like that. It was just Follow My Lead with Robin Thicke. And just the aesthetics of the two videos, it was like, come on, man. Like, it was just different, man. And it was just that time where we needed that, man. We needed that shift in culture in hip hop, because everybody was killing everybody. Like, in the records, like, everybody was the biggest, toughest Dundada you've ever seen in your life. And it was like, this is just not reality. And I remember having older cousins who their sound of hip hop that they like is more of the gangster sound. And so when they heard Graduation, they thought it was trash, and they didn't realize the old school lost their reins. Like, so now it's cool for us to have the Drakes, we can have the Cuddies, we can have the Uzis, we can have the Tylers, we can have all these, the Coles, the Kendricks. Like, you can have these, and not saying that Kanye is their only influence, but the groundwork that he laid, you can see that they followed that path as well. And I'm pretty sure you can find interviews where each one of these artists are saying that about Kanye. But that lane to make the just the regular guy who has a job, who works at the guy, you know what I mean? When Kanye, not on this album, but like on Spaceships, when he raps about working in retail, that sets him apart from everybody at that time. And it's more people who work in retail around the world, and obviously in America, than it's people that's shooting up people selling drugs and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not normal. But enough of my nostalgia. Let's get into this track listing. Let me go with some of my favorites. To start with, Good Morning. Yo, that last verse on Good Morning, being in my senior year of high school, hearing that, good morning, look at the valedictorian, scared of the future while I hop in a DeLorean, scared to face the world, complacent career student. Some people graduate but be still stupid. They tell you read this, eat this, don't look around, just peep this, preach us, teach us, Jesus. Okay, look up now. They done stole your streetness, and after all of that, you receive this. Just a good morning in the morning at this bullshit job that you hate. They done stripped you of all yourself, and now you become like this puppet in this machine. Man, fucking great intro, man. Just a fucking great intro. To go into Champion, and it's one of the few songs I think it's cool because, you know, on Late Registration he does have Hey Mama, which is a dedication to his mom, and on the next album I think Champions is a dedication to his father. We was sort of like Will Smith and his son in a movie. I ain't talking about the rich ones. Another favorite line from there was like I dropped out a PE. I thought that was a dope line. Stronger. I remember Stronger coming out the year before, like a couple months before September. So I would say like it had to be June or May when it first leaked. You haven't seen that classic footage of just Kanye, I think Danger and Timberland's in the studio adding the 808s and kick to Stronger just to make it more strong. Oh, that was stupid. I wonder, with such a different record, that flow that he chose, dun my whole life. I remember KRS-One had an interview, this is so random, around this time, where he was talking about the Graduation and Curtis album, and he was saying that 50 Cent made a rap album, hip hop album, and Kanye made like a pop album or whatever the fuck he said. But it was like, dude, I Wonder is so hip hop. Good Morning is so, like, it's nothing. Everything on this album is hip hop. Like the drum and kick, God level. His bars on here was just crazy too. I think this is his best lyrical performance on the album for sure, to me, on Graduation, for sure. Can't Tell Me Nothing, I think, is probably Kanye's #1 song he's made of all time, his best song ever. I think it's Can't Tell Me Nothing and Then Run Away. I think both sum up who he is. Like, the opening lines are just so stellar and so cold.
I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven.
Like, that's crazy. I told God I'll be back in a second. Man, it's so hard not to act reckless. The reason he can perform that song through his whole career, even when he was in his Jesus era, because the lyrics are so honest and so potent and so, like, every bar, every line means something, and it's the truth. That shit's crazy. Barry Bonds is dope. I remember Kanye saying that Jay-Z was supposed to be on Barry Bonds with him and Wayne, but he just didn't make it to the studio. I'm kind of happy he didn't. You know, I couldn't. Thinking of how Jay-Z rapped on features in that era of time, I don't know. Flashing Lights, come on, man. I think if we don't get Flashing Lights, we don't get 808s. That's what I say. Glory, just bodied. Everything I Am. Common, how you pass on that beat? Like, I remember the story when Common was like, I didn't even pass on the beat. I just went to go get some, like, food. And I was coming, when I came back, he had the song done. Homecoming. You know what always, like, it's dope about Kanye? I'm pretty sure it happens with other artists too, but I just know with him, like, the way that he can save songs for time. So, like, let's say Hey Mama, right? He made that in the College Dropout era, but it didn't get placed until Late Registration. Homecoming was something of the College Dropout era with John Legend, but didn't get placed till the third album. What else? Something newer. I think, like, Hurricanes was like 4 years old before we finally got the finished product with The Weeknd on it and Little Baby, and, like, just shit like that. I think is just always dope. Like, no song is ever finished, right? Like, no throwaway is ever finished. I think that's cool. And then they also got Big Brother, which, you know, the song dedicated to Jay-Z. I really don't listen to Big Brother because even back then, because I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's a very poetic song and beautiful song. Beats dope. Toom did his thing. Toom killed this shit. But it's like, I don't give a fuck about. I just don't care. And looking at it now, are they even really that? Like, now that the smoke is cleared and they don't really need each other anymore to coexist. And I think at a point they both needed each other at a time. I think. And this is just my thoughts. I think, obviously, Kanye needed the Jay-Z cosign at the beginning. Blueprint, obviously, Rockefeller Records, boom. I think Jay-Z needed Kanye around 08, around this era. Like, he needed Watch the Throne. Like, he needed that. Like, he needed that Ye sauce. Pause. Like, he needed that. Like, but to see where they're at now and then looking back at this song, it's like, was it ever really that, or was it just more of a what can I get out of you? It's just tainted for me. Sorry, that was a real rant, wasn't it? Let me get into my favorite songs, man. I'm gonna go with I Wonder, Can't Tell Me Nothing, and Flashing Lights. Yeah, Flashing Lights. Worst song, Drunken Hot Girls. Best line, damn, so many. Let me see. I'll just give some of my favorites lines from here. I say, like Martin with no Gina, like a flight with no visa, first class with the seat back, I still see you. In my past, you on the other side of the glass of my memories museum. I'm just saying, hey Mona Lisa, come home. You know you can't roam without a season. Obviously that's just a bar. How he move in a room full of no's, how he stay faithful with a room full of hoes. Must be the pharaohs he entombed with his soul, so when he buried in a tomb full of gold. And to bring it back to all this hip-hop shit, he throws the Troy line in there and says, when they reminisce over you, my God. Like, psh, that shit is nuts. Oh, before I get out of here though, I got this in my collection. What y'all know about that? I told you, I'm like a real fan with this shit. Funny enough, they rated him. Curtis was a 3.5. Kanye was a 4.5 star. I don't want to keep folding it because I don't want this shit to rip. I don't want this to rip. But that's dope. These two gentlemen created one of the biggest weeks in music history. Like, they pretty much saved hip hop. They fed the music industry for the next 3 to 4 years off this battle. Two black men, two hip hop artists, two artists that are underdogs at one point. 50 Cent coming from being shot, dropped from his record company, blah blah blah, nothing, shelved, picked up by Shady, mixtape run, you know, Get Rich, all that shit. Kanye, not struggling producer, he was a famous producer. Struggling rapper, nobody taking him serious, car accident, comes back, make one of the biggest records of his career, Through the Wire, and then it's off to the races from there. They actually have similar trajectories as artists, just two different types of content. And it's sad that those two never got to work with each other in their prime. Can you imagine 50 Cent in 04 on like a Kanye soul beat? If you were a fan of the G Unit mixtapes like I was, you remember songs like him going 50 Cent rapping over Overnight Celebrity, or some of the Scarface beats, or I think he rapped on Lucifer before. Like, it's songs out there that beats of Kanye 50's rap on, but I wanted the moment, you know what I mean? Like, they were like two fucking gigantic titans at the time. But to wrap this up again, I just wanted to give just to celebrate this moment in hip hop and black culture, and just that culture shift that graduation brought. Graduation moment was so great. This is like why everybody misses the old Kanye. And it's true, you know. To close this out, let me know some of your favorite records off Graduation. Give me your top 3. What do you rank this album in Kanye's discography? What does this album mean to you? Where were you when it's dropped with it? Like, give me a story. And that's pretty much it, man. Flowers for Kanye's Graduation album. I'm Tatum. Peace.